Hello everyone, welcome to this exciting hands-on session on Retrieval Augmented Generation or RAG. It is one of the most in-demand and practical applications of generative AI today. I am Jaya Gupta and we are going to learn the real-world use case of RAG fundamental, and we'll build a basic chatbot-alike interface which is where RAG is working behind the scene. Whether you're a developer, a data scientist, or just someone curious about how Gen AI work, you are at the right place. And let's begin our session for today. So we will build this hands-on session with ChromaDB, LangChain, Hugging Face, and Streamlit. So we'll have a deployable code. So this agenda is very clear now. We are going to build a RAG pipeline. So our step 1 is the document ingestion, where we will input the PDF or any other knowledge source. So in today's video, we are going to stick to PDF only because I'm using this PyPDF loader to load the document and extraction of the full text content. We are using this library called LangChain loader, and with this, we are actually using the function of PyPDF loader, right? So let's continue to step 2. In step 2, we are going to do text splitting or chunking. The reason of chunking is that LLMs cannot handle the huge documents. So we need to split them into smaller chunks, around 500 tokens, right? And today we are going to use this tool of recursive character text splitter. This is one type of chunking mechanism which we are going to use in our session today. So it will split by these many tokens and assign IDs to each chunk and store it in ChromaDB. Next step is embedding creation. So the input of this step is the text chunks which we did in the previous step, and we'll be using a pre-trained embedding model which will convert our text into numbers, floating point numbers, right? And the library we are going to use here will be sentence transformers, and we'll use this via LangChain. So we'll convert each chunk into a numerical vector in this step 3. Now let's continue to step 4, where we are going to use the vector database, and that is we are going to use ChromaDB here. It will store the embeddings as well as the original text with the ID, and this is useful for the retrieval mechanism. Now let's continue to step 5. We will use a user query interface which is designed with Streamlit, where user types a natural language question and user can also upload any PDF file from which she or he can ask the question. Now let's continue to step 6. So step 6 is the semantic retrieval. So till step 5, what we were doing is setting up the ingestion of the PDF, chunking the document and embedding the document and storing it into the vector database. Now in step 6, what we are doing here, we will take the user query from the previous step using the interface, and then that query will also be converted to an embedding, and then that embedding is used to actually search the ChromaDB, right? And that is how it will search for top k most relevant chunks in the vector data store based on the user query embedding. So is it clear now? Right. So let's continue. In step 7, we will do the prompt construction, right? So everybody knows about prompting, right? But where it will fit in our pipeline is this place. It will come to step 7, where we should have a very good prompt which can handle the user question properly and provide the required response. So what it will do, will provide the context as well as question to the user, to this prompt template, right? It will combine the retrieved chunks into a prompt and format an answer, like answer based on the context, and will provide the chunks and the user query, and we can provide the memory as well, like the previous 5 questions and their responses. That can also be done in prompt construction, right? Now let's move to step 8. There we will generate a response using LLM. So here we are going to use this Mistral 7 billion parameters here, and we will take this from Hugging Face Transformers, where it will generate a natural language answer to the user question, right? Next step is step 9, which is displaying of the answer. So we'll show the final LLM generated answer to the user, right? So it will be shown to the front end at the Streamlit interface. So this is a overall picture of what we were doing in each step. So here you can see, like in the first phase we are doing the document ingestion, then text splitting, then embedding creation, then vector store DB, then user query input, then semantic retrieval, prompt construction, response generation, displaying of the answer, and the pipeline enhancement. So in pipeline enhancement, we can understand what are the responses coming out from the LLM, and if they are not good, we can tweak some hyperparameters, we can adjust our prompt, right? We can add few guardrails to the prompt that will help the LLM to understand user context and provide the response which is required from the after using the PDF which is uploaded, right? Okay, and this is what we will use there in our code. So this is overview of the files which we are going to use. In document ingestion, we'll be using this load pdf.py file. So we'll be just coming to our VS Code hands-on in a minute. Just see this picture so that we can connect it. So the code of document ingestion is written in load pdf.py. Then the splitting code is also written in the same file, load pdf.py. Then embedding generation code is written in the file called embed store. Similar for vector store DB, it is also written in the same file, embed store. Then we have this user query input file, which we will design using Streamlit, and the file name is app.py. Then we have the semantic retrieval, where we are matching with the user query. Then the file name is rag_chain.py. Prompt construction is also mentioned in the same file. Then for response generation, we are using a combination of LLM loader.py, right, and a rag chain. These two files are being used here for the response generation, because we'll load our desired LLM and this rag chain will wire them up to get the response. Then we have this answer display file, app.py file, to get the answer of the user query and display it on the interface. Then for Streamlit enhancement, we can enhance the Streamlit code, a logging script, we can enhance the rag chain, prompt template, many things, right? So we can add the logging so that we'll understand where our system is getting failed, or maybe if it is skipping some steps or it's working properly or not, right? So now let's continue. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. You can also comment me the question, or you can write them in the chat window. So I'll definitely answer your questions. I'm taking a pause here. So now let's move to VS Code. So this is our VS Code window. First, we will set up our environment for this. So I have created this environment called GenAI, right? So I've created an environment with this name GenAI. I can show you that. Let me deactivate and then activate this environment. Okay, so now we are at the base. Okay, I think the visibility is better now. So I can list the environments, Panda, env list. So it will show all the environments which I have in my system right now. So I'm using GenAI environment. So I'll activate this. So I can activate this environment on, and what I did to actually set up this environment is to use this requirement.txt file. So a large txt file, requirement.txt, because we are installing many libraries like LangChain Community, Streamlit, and they are in turn actually installing many other libraries. So it's a large list. And there is one command which I am referring to install the basic, I've written it here somewhere. Let me check. Okay, not written anywhere. Okay, let me provide that command to you. Yeah, this is the command: pip install and Streamlit, ChromaDB, Sentence Transformers, LangChain Transformers, Torch. So if you have GPU in your system, then also this code will run. If you don't have the GPU, it will automatically switch to CPU. Right. So right now in my system, it is running on CPU, and we have a good RAM in our system, so it's working fine. But with the GPU, the performance will be far better. Right. Okay. So let's first start with the file which is used for PDF. Let's first see the interface, right? So that will help you to understand what we are building. So let me run this file. I'll run it using this command, Streamlit run app.py. Once I run it, it will directly open the user interface on localhost as it is opening up. So you see it's running. This is the Streamlit interface running on our localhost. It's a bit slow. If you have any following queries, you can write me. I'll definitely answer them. I can comment. Okay, by the time it's running, let's check our load PDF file. Okay, so let's see this load PDF file. This is the first file we are referring here to load the PDF document, to actually extract the PDF document content and to do the chunking of that content. Right, first what we are doing is we are importing the Py PDF loader from LangChain community.document loaders, and then we are importing this text splitter for chunking purpose. The name of the splitter is recursive character text splitter, right? So we loaded our document with so and so path, which we will select from file manager, and then we have the content in our docs string, right? And then we actually set up our recursive content text splitter here. After this, we actually provided this splitter with the function called split documents, and with this we are providing our docs which is holding the content of the PDF file. Then we are returning the chunks from here, right? So this is the basic program. Only 10 to 12 line hardly we are using to load the PDF as well as for chunking of our document, right? So next file is embed store. So to see what is happening here, we are loading and splitting the PDF here, which we are calling from this load and split PDF. So this function we have called an embed store, right? So this is working here. Actually, we have imported this function from our file, and along with that we are providing this Hugging Face embeddings, this model to generate the embedding. So model name is all mini LM v6 v2 L6 v2. So this is the model we are using for embedding creation. Fine. And along with that, we are importing the Chroma, means Chroma DB from the vector stores. Right. So 3 lines are enough to actually set up all the grounds, and then we use this vector db.persist to save our document chunks into our vector store with their embeddings. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask me. Right. So in the first line, we are loading and splitting the PDF. In the second line, we are actually creating the Hugging Face embedding. We are using this in setting up the grounds for embedding creation. Then in the third line, we are actually utilizing this vector DB and providing the Chroma, and from document function is taking everything together. It's taking the document, it's taking the embedding model, and then persist directory called Chroma DB, right? So next line is vector db.persist. This particular line basically saves our chunks and their respective text into the Chroma DB so that we can use it later without reprocessing the documents and embedding every type when the app runs. So what it does, it basically stores, right? It basically stores whatever we upload. So I think our local host, okay, this is up. Now we can browse any file from here. So let me browse another file. Okay, this is GenAI Architect curriculum. So I'm opening this curriculum from here. What it is doing, it is processing PDF and creating a vector database. So let's check where this line is written. Processing PDF, and because till yet we haven't seen this line, right? So let's see where it is written. So it's written here, processing PDF and creating vector database. So basically this app.py file is calling every other file, right? Okay. Fine. After seeing this, after completing this, let's continue to RAG-Chain and LLM Loader. 2 files are left. So let's first check this RAG-Chain, then we will go to LLM Loader. So what this RAG-Chain is holding, basically we are importing the Chroma here as well as the embedding as well as this load Mistral pipeline. So this is the function we are importing from. We are importing from where? Load Mistral pipeline. Okay, so I think this is from, yeah, this is coming from LLM Loader. So we should go to this file later because we are calling a function of this file, LLM Loader. So let's first understand this file. Okay, so what transformers we are using here? So we are using auto tokenizer, auto model for Claude, auto model for casual LM, as well as this pipeline. Along with that, we are using this Hugging Face hub and importing the login, right? So basically you need to provide a Hugging Face token to run the Mistral model, and then we are using this torch and operating system to set up the environment. So we are providing our Hugging Face token, which which is hidden here. You have to generate this token from the Hugging Face account, right? And you can generate your read token as well. That will be helpful to read the Mistral model weights, right? Then we are using this login to access this token. Then we are using this model name called Mistral AI / Mistral 7B instruct v01. So this is a model name we're using here. Why this model is being used here? Because it is able to understand user query and provide the response properly, right? And the tokenizer which is being used here is auto tokenizer from pre-trained, and we are providing our model name and authentication. Then we are using auto model for casual LM, right? So these two lines are basically helping you to set up the grounds for your model. Fine. So this auto tokenizer automatically selects the correct tokenizer for the model. Then this auto model for casual LM loads the model suitable for casual, means left to right text generation. And the pipeline is a high level API to wrap up your model for easy usage. Right? So this is actually setting up the grounds for Mistral. So what this tokenizer does, basically it takes the text and it then refer to the token ID and feed that to the model, and automatically downloads the tokenizer config and vocab if it is not cached, right? And this auto model for casual LM is a casual language modeling where the model predict the next word. So that is why these two things are used in combination. Here we are using this model 2 to CPU. Basically it is handling to run all the tasks on CPU. We can replace this with CUDA if we have GPU enabled. What about the size of this Mistral 7B model? Basically this model is a large model with around 13 GB in size in floating point 16, right? Means if we are taking the weights in floating point 16 encoding, then the size of the model is 13 GB, right? And it is not suitable for very low RAM CPUs. So we have a good RAM in our system, right? Then we have this function called generate response, right? So this function basically generates the response by taking the prompt and with maximum tokens of 512. So we'll write tokenizer, then we'll provide the prompt and return the tensor PT to CPU, right? Which with tosh.nograd, basically this is the function where we usually use it for inference, because in the training time we calculate the gradients, but in the inference time we do not calculate any gradient. We directly provide our text and apply the model weights and we generate the response. So we'll use this tosh.nograd, right? And we'll generate the IDs with this function model.generate. We'll provide the input IDs, max tokens, sample size, temperature, top KP, right? So these are all the model hyperparameters which we are providing here. And then using this, we'll generate the response. And we'll return this response with this name called generate response. Fine. Along with that, we are loading the Mistral pipeline here as well and returning the same from here. So basically we'll utilize this for basically we'll utilize this for this purpose of this here in the rack chain. We are going to utilize this load Mistral pipeline. So it's more or less whatever we have used above, right? It's more or less the same thing. Then here, so this function called build QA chain will basically, this function build QA chain, what it is doing, basically it is loading the existing ChromaDB. We know there is no need to create the vector database again, and then it is embedding the user query with the same embedding model which we have used for document chunking and embedding, for document embedding. And then we are retrieving the top 3 similar chunks in the third line. Retriever is equals to vectordb.asRetriever. So we are basically check the similarity with the 3 top chunks and we'll return it. Fine. Then we have this answer query function, and this answer query function basically builds a prompt with the retrieve context. Along with that, it will call the LLM to generate the answer using Mistral, right? As you see here. So basically we are returning this answer query here because we don't just want to answer one user query, we want to reuse this function, right? To reuse this function, we have to work it this way. And here the advantage is that we are setting up everything in one time, right? These things are set up one time only, but we are able to answer the user query as many times as possible using this kind of code writing. So I think we have seen all the 4 files. Now let's move to app.py. So basically we are using this RAG chain and importing this build QA chain. Then we are importing this embed store, create vector store, right? We are uploading a file. So this is the code to upload that. Then this is our title and this is our markdown for the upload, right? Then we have this spinner. Basically it will show you the processing kind of window which is moving, which is loading with the loading sign, right? And behind the scenes it is taking the path of the PDF and then opening the PDF and reading it. So we are using this f.write uploaded file.read, right? And then we create a vector store using the PDF. Once the vector store is created, we enable the chat after our vector data store is ready and user can ask the question. We are using another spinner called thinking, and then we will answer the query with this function QA_FN user input. And then we have success in our answer, right? So we put it as success. Fine. Rest of the code is commented. So now let's see the result. So our vector data store is created and we can ask a question. Teach me Gen AI in 20 words. Let's see how it replies. So it takes some time because I'm using the CPU. It's not right now working on GPU. That's why it's taking some time. So right now it is provided the answer. So you see the answer is like these are the top 3 responses which it actually got from the database. And then our question was teach me Gen AI in 20 words answer. So it has concluded everything in such a manner that Gen AI is a general artificial intelligence approach. It is a type of artificial intelligence that is designed to be capable of performing a wide range of different tasks. Gen AI is based on the principles of LLMs, which are an advanced form of artificial intelligence that is capable of understanding and generating a natural language. Gen AI is designed to be able to learn and adapt over time, allowing it to become more efficient and effective as it gains more experience. So if we will go and check this PDF once to see the content and to see is it directly copy pasting or what it is doing, right? So this is our PDF. Let's check that. So it has the contents like this. So this is basically a syllabus for Gen AI engineer, and here we are not writing the definition anywhere. It's just the syllabus with projects included. So we see there it is no definition, nothing like whatever provided by our RAG is not written there. It is able to provide the result in the format we are asking from it. So it is able to generate the language properly and able to extract the chunks with the 3 similar matches, right? But still there is a lot of scope for improvement. We can use our GPUs. So I have the GPU in this system. So what we can do further is to enable that GPU properly so that it can be utilized for quick response. Second, we can provide more better prompt so that it will understand the question, and there should be some guardrails to the prompt, and is also not showing me the like chatbot alike interface is not that, so we can improve our interface as well, right? So these are few things which we need to look to make it a more robust system. And this is just a basic fundamental of RAG, how it is implemented, what are the different functions, how they are called, right? Let me go back to our presentation again, and we have seen this, right? We have seen all these steps. So I can conclude it from here that we did document ingestion, then text splitting, then embedding creation, then vector store setup, then user query input, then semantic retrieval, then prompt construction, then response generation and displaying of the answer. And this is which is left out to enhance the pipeline. So stay with me in the further videos. So I'll post and keep you updated on the recent content. So stay tuned and just always learn the new things. It will be helpful for you in your career journey. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, keep me posted. Thank you.